Hi everyone, welcome to my Shoreline Studio. I'm Sybille Muschik. Behind the camera is Joshua Blanc. Now today we're looking at some old lino blocks. I have discovered these in my drawer while I was trying to clean up the other day, and I thought, oh, isn't that interesting? I wonder if they would work on the gel plate. Well, several experiments later, and we have some interesting opportunities with these plates. So I tried just doing the same one in several different colors and making a bigger composition out of it. Then I did one with, this is the lino cut block on the gel plate, and this is it just as a print. And the lino block really does well, doesn't it? So, and I don't have an etching press, so the gel plate really does a good job, you know, being like an etching press. So, all right. So then I discovered another block, and if you look closely, they actually join up. So I don't know if we're going to get a chance to do it that way, but we're going to start just with inking up the block and then putting it on the gel plate, and then we'll see what happens from there. It's all very experimental, and I'm using Amsterdam paints. Usually use etching inks or it could be oil or water-based. And I have speedball inks, but we're going to try and work with the Amsterdam paints today. We might have to go back to the lino block paints, so the speedball paints. All right, so let's give it a shot. So we'll start with this one. And we're just going to work with black for now. In this case, you have to roll it out. And get a nice, even, smooth. It works just like your regular speedball inks. Or Aqua if that's what you prefer. So make sure your roller is inked really well. And then run it over. Ink it up really well. You have to work fairly rapidly because these paints will dry. Whereas the speedball inks don't dry until you print it on paper. Aqua works the same way. Okay, let's see what we get. And you'll have to press really, really hard. I'm just going to leave that for a second and we'll ink up the other one quick while we have it. Now the first time you do this, you're sort of conditioning the plate. In this case, plates. And we may not get a really strong image, so I must just, again, leave that. Now I was very lucky because these plates are about 30 years old. And I didn't have any cracks. I did keep them in a plastic bag. And so there was really no air getting at them to deteriorate them. So they've actually been working really well. Okay, so yes, the ink is a little dry on us. So let us just add a little bit of retarder medium. And a little bit more paint. I don't know if it would help to warm the plates up before you ink them. Generally you do that when you're cutting. And I'm going to just take this off. Let's try that again. Now with speedball inks, of course, you're not going to have the same amount of trouble with it. I'm just going to... So let's try that. I'm doing the Amsterdam inks because, or paints, whoops, there's a corner there. Many of you at home might have lino blocks or something like stamps, but you don't have the speedball or aqua paints and probably don't want to purchase them. So if we can make the Amsterdam paint work, that might be a big help to some of you. Okay, this should be better. Okay. It's a little smeary, but it works not too bad. And that one's quite nice. Let's see if we can print this. Yes, it moved a little bit, but it's not bad. Okay, and then we'll do this one. And it won't tie together all that great, but and not bad. The second one actually with we didn't wiggle it, so, and you can see that you could cut it together and then, or leave it like this. Okay, so far so good. The next one, we're just going to clean up. So while I'm cleaning off the plate, I will tell you a little bit about what lino blocks are made of. This is, well, it's called battleship linoleum, but the real battleship linoleum is actually gray, or, you know, gray battleships, but this is the same kind of thing, only brown. And it's made up of pine resin, cork dust, and linseed oil. We're going to do the next part just by inking the plate and then placing the images on there and see what we get. We still have a fair amount of good black on here, and we've got it at a nice consistency. I'm going to roll it out. And use a fair amount of paint, but not so much that it's goopy. You want a good, fairly dark image. So we'll start with this one. Now, if you're careful and don't get any fingerprints and things on the sides, you can use it as a frame. Off a little bit, but whatever. Now we might need just a little bit more paint for this one. And the retarder really helps. So I'll only put this is the golden retarder. Okay, Now I wonder if we can just drop this thing down. All right. Well, if you're worried about the outside border, then you can always wipe it off. I'm just working on cardstock here, just hammer mill. Okay. And taking this one off all in one fell swoop. And then I can sort of see the edge of this one. And we will proceed to print that. I don't think they'll line up as well as you want to, but you know, that's something you can practice. Oh, we lost a little bit of our leaf, but it looks really nice, doesn't it? And yep, you're gonna have to crop some of it off. But anyway, yeah, and that's quite beautiful. Now, what you can do is then run another color on here, or you can hand color these, or you can try putting paint directly on the plate and lining it up and printing it. Now, I did have an example of that. This is lining it up and reprinting. We sort of lost that little bit there, but that could be quite nice as well. And this one is kind of yucky. But it's the same idea, right? You're reprinting from the block itself, putting some color down, and then you might need several printings of it. All right, so we'll leave that for now. You have to clean each time. It's just the best way to go. Okay, I think it's time for an interlude, don't you? Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the tools that you use for cutting the lino blocks. We won't get into cutting today, and there are lots of really good videos on lino blocks and lino block cutting and so forth. We might get into that. These are speedball tools. You just unscrew them and they come out like that. There we go. And the rest of them are down in here. These are, I think, Japanese or Chinese tools, and they can be used for wood carving as well for, the wood cuts. And I have, quite a fair number of them. This is a sharpening stone, and you try and sharpen, you count the number of times. And this is rougher, and this is smoother. So you start with the rough, and then you finish off with the smooth. You can hear the difference. There's also a piece of leather you can use, like a stropping leather. So that's often used. So we're going to work with this one. And what we're going to do is we'll ink this one, put it on the plate, and print that. And then we'll just ink this one again and print it directly. And just to see the difference in color. We've got the color all worked out. I'm going to add a wee bit of retarder, just a drop. And I want just one more color for the weeds in the background. We'll do sort of a rainbow roll kind of thing. Now I might even use, I have a little roller, we might use that, but we'll start with this one. And I'm just going to roll it out. And Just a hair of yellow. And we'll do more of the blue here further up. So you could ink one side one color, like here, and then more here for the other one. That gives you two tones. And because you can't do it consistently again, it is a mono print. You're never going to ink it exactly the same twice. I'm going to just switch to another for the background weeds. I just want to take it down a little bit. It's very intense yellow. That's a neutral gray. Now when I was carving these blocks, I wanted some of the cutting areas to show because it looks like waves. So it was all to the good. So I didn't take it right down past the point where it would print. So there are little spots here and there. Okay, let's give this a shot. No, we really have to push hard to make sure it's going to transfer that image to the gel plate. These are 5x7 gel plates. And then lift carefully. And we're not quite there yet. If you're careful when you lift, you'll see where you haven't got any ink yet. Okay. Now I'm going to try and see if we can match that up. Just add a little bit more paint. Sometimes that second pass is what you need. Okay, so the way to do that, you can see through the plate and you should be able to line it up. Now we should be getting some more paint on the plate. You can peek at it. Much better. There's just one little spot here. It's all doable. Right, now paper. And because everything flips, I print the right side first. Now adding a little retarder is really critical, otherwise it's not going to happen. If it does dry on you, don't forget you can do a pickup layer. And it's not bad. Okay, so that's with color. Put that aside. We're going to re-ink. Now don't forget, this is a double reversal. So you get it looking like this, right? So when you print it directly, it reverses once. Just things to keep in mind. I think we need a little bit more blue. All right, here we go. Just take that off. And we can try and match as far as it's possible the two. And you can turn it over and rub it. Use your Bren if you have one. Wooden spoon works. I have an old wooden spoon. You can sort of see the polish on it. Because we're not using a press, you really do have to rub, you know, quite a bit to pick up that image. Often we'll use things like the Oriental papers, deli papers. Those will pick up a direct image. And we can take a peek at it and see if it's printed. It's not bad. Okay. Okay, well, the gel plate wasn't quite as successful, not like this one. Here's the gel plate one here, and the direct print is here. So it depends. I could have probably done it once more, especially here. But the, you know, direct printing, even on cardstock, works pretty good. So I don't know if I want to do it again, but you get the idea, and I think that's the main thing. So those are the kinds of things you can do, you know, with an old lino block. This is great fun as always. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to help our channel grow. We're getting there. And we really appreciate all the wonderful comments. Wow, I'm just over the moon about a lot of them. And if you want to see something specific, please message me to my Shoreline Studio on Facebook. And even on YouTube, I think you can leave, you know, when you make some comments or something. If there's something you'd like to see, for sure, let me know. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of your families, be kind to one another. Bye for now.